the shelter in place, many of us are working from home. That means a lot of us are working in less than ideal conditions on couches, dining tables, and perhaps, on the bed too, and using laptops instead of desktops. And hence a surge of musculoskeletal issues like neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, and even headaches. I'm Priti Parekh. I'm an internal medicine physician, and with me today is Sharmila Acharya. Sharmila is a physical therapist and also a yoga teacher, and she also has few other hats. Sharmila, thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to connect with you.
Yeah. And so today we'll be talking about some ergonomics do's and don'ts for those working from home. And in fact, these are the tips that we can use even while working out of the office. I'll start with my own experience. After working virtually for a few days, I noticed something. I noticed that I was flexing my neck and I was moving my head forward. And no matter what adjustments I made on my laptop, I tried raising the laptop, I tried lowering my chair, but no matter what I did, something was just not right. I just couldn't get it right. So Sharmila, tell us a little bit about things that we can do while we work from home these days.
Yeah, this is a very, very important topic right now with everybody working from home and even kids doing school from home.
Correct.
So, generally when I work with people, I talk about 3 common topics to address this issue. Mm-hmm. So one is ergonomics, and ergonomics is how we set up our workstation to facilitate optimal posture and minimize strain on our body. The second is regular movement. So getting regular short intervals of movement in our day. And then the third is easy to integrate stress management techniques. So in my opinion, all 3 are really important to address some of these problems that people are facing with different pains in our neck and our back and things like this. So do you want me to just start with ergonomics?
Yeah, let's do that, Sharmila. And I'm glad you mentioned these categories because usually we think of the first one, but not the second and the third one.
Yes, exactly. You're so right.
Yeah.
And so with ergonomics in and of itself is a huge topic. I mean, you could really get detailed with lots of fancy gadgets. But what I'd love to do is give a foundational overview, kind of like a checklist of points that people can start looking at right now. Okay, so starting with the head, working down, your face should be about an arm's length from your screen, and your straight gaze should hit the top third of the screen, unless you wear bifocals. If you wear bifocals, you want it a little lower. And so sometimes the monitor is too low, especially if you're on a laptop. That tends to happen. And when that happens, when your screen is too low, we tend to bend our head or bend and poke forward our head like you're talking about. And so what that does is puts a lot of strain on our neck because your head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. And when your head's out of alignment like this, it puts even more weight and strain on our neck. And so an easy fix for this is getting something called a riser, which elevates our laptop or monitor. And if you don't want to buy it, you can actually do it yourself at home with a huge pot or a stack of books or a big box, but just to elevate that screen so that your gaze hits that top third of the screen is really helpful. And another area you want to think about this is when we're using our cell phones. Commonly we're on our phones too, and especially kids, right? They're on their phones all the time and they're bent over looking at their phones. And that's actually called text neck.
Yes, that's the posture I see commonly, yes.
Yeah, super common.
Yeah.
And the great thing is we can do something about this, right? And so if you think about the number of hours we're on our phones or on our computer over days and weeks and months, you can see how this is an issue. And so what you want to do is be aware of where your head is in space. So your head should be in the middle, not bent, not extended, in the middle. And your ears in line with your shoulders. So that's kind of a nice way to start thinking about it. And if you're on your phone a lot, you want to think about getting a headset so that you're not like this all day. Okay, so that's in the middle.
Right.
So those are some great pointers just to start right away with your head and neck. And moving down the body, if we look at our elbows, me just pull back here so you can see, your elbow should be at about 90 degrees or greater. So what that means is your hand in line with your elbow or your hand lower than your elbow. That helps to keep your shoulders relaxed. Now, if your keyboard is too high, especially if you elevate your laptop with a riser, chances are your keyboard will be too high. And so then your angle will probably be less than 90, which means your hand above your elbow. So an easy way to fix this is if you have an external keyboard to lower it, or if you don't, if you're using a laptop, then buy an external keyboard, a separate keyboard from your laptop computer. It's just a super easy and helpful fix to deal with that. And when moving down the arm, if we're talking about the wrists too and keyboards, your wrist should be in neutral. So not extended, not flexed, in the middle. So you can imagine that you can balance a pencil on your wrist is a way to think about it. So hopefully, what you mentioned is people working from their couch or bed. Hopefully people are not working from their couch or bed. As tempting as that is, please don't do it. Please work at a desk with a chair, because it's very hard to establish proper ergonomics in a couch or bed, right?
Correct.
It's very hard to do that. So when it comes to desk and chairs, well, when it comes to chairs specifically, there's so many types of chairs out there. So I'm not going to go into detail about everything. The main thing is your chair should help you facilitate an erect spine. So maybe you have some lumbar support, and maybe you have an adjustability feature so it can fit you in particular. Because then going down the body, you want your knee to be in line with your hip or slightly lower than your hip. And then coming to your feet, you want your feet resting on the floor. So if your feet don't touch the floor, think about getting a stool, footrest, or even doing it yourself with a huge box or stack of books or something. So these are just some general points going down the body just to start to look at, because it can be overwhelming, but these are some just foundational steps.
Yeah, no, great tips and great suggestions, Sharmila. So what I realized what I need to do is two things: get a riser and get a keyboard. So that's the thing. I don't have a keyboard, and so even when I was trying to raise my laptop, I was still not in a good posture because I automatically raised my shoulders.
Exactly, because you were like this probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So either I was flexing my neck or I was lifting my shoulders. Either way, not good posture. So, okay, I'm going to put my Harrison's Book of Medicine to good use.
Yeah, I know medical textbooks are really good to use for this.
I haven't used that in years. So I'll take that out of my library. And I think I do have a keyboard somewhere. So yeah, thank you for those tips. And also, for the children, I'm glad you mentioned that, because they also need a good work setting.
That's what I was going to add. Children too. Now that all the kids are working from school from home,
correct.
Equally important for them to look at.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
So moving on to your next suggestion, which is movement. Movement affects our musculoskeletal health when we are working from home, especially. And it's not just the way you sit, but the fact that you're sitting that can cause problems. Next posture is the best posture is what I read somewhere. Sharmila, so tell us how important is movement during these times, especially?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important. And I just want to emphasize something. Even if you have the most perfect posture when you're sitting, being in one position all day or for most of the day with hardly any breaks is just not good for us, right?
Correct.
Human beings are designed to move, and movement's actually medicine for us. So this is something we really want to start to think about. We want to think about having short, regular intervals of movement, and ideally hourly if we can. So what I always encourage people to do is use all these modern things we have like apps and timers to remind us, because we're not going to remember. We're going to get caught up in our work and totally forget about our movement breaks. Right. So just use the help of these apps to get you started in this habit. But as far as how to incorporate movement, this is something that I educate people on when they come to see me. You know, I educate them on specific things that they can do with their lifestyle, their pre-existing conditions. But generally speaking, really any movement, you can get creative with this. So taking those extra bathroom breaks, walking in your hallways, up and down the stairs. Even if you tell me, hey, I have no time whatsoever, the least you could do is do this. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up and talk on your phone there, using your headset. When you're at a meeting, talking, you can even pace when you're standing here. You can pace around in the room you're in while you're talking to somebody, one of your colleagues. You can do a couple of stretches, simple stretches, like just standing here with your feet rooted to the ground. And then you inhale, lift your arms all the way up, sending your fingertips up to the ceiling and stretching both sides of your torso. And you can even do a slight back bend here if it's comfortable. These are just some ideas of simple things you can do. Now, there are some specific movements I educate my clients on, and one that they love that I find super helpful is the cat and cow pose of yoga.
So, can we see that, Sharmila?
Yeah. Okay, let me just move this screen if I can. Okay. Let me show you what that looks like. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. So you come down onto your hands and knees, your knees underneath your shoulders. I'm sorry, your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And you're going to alternate between two movements. So one is dropping your belly towards the ground, arching your spine and looking up slightly. And the other is rounding your spine, pushing away from the floor and releasing your head. And so you can add breathing here by inhaling as you arch your spine and look up, and exhaling as you round your spine and release your head. So you go back and forth like this with the breathing. And you can just do this for a couple of minutes. And what I love about this is that it breaks up some of the accumulated tension around our spine. It adds movement and flow. And if you use your breathing with it, it really is relaxing. And for people that can't get on the floor, you can modify this in the chair. If you want me to show you how to.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Yeah. Anything people can do on the chair itself?
Well, you can modify.
Well, this is a good opportunity to get up anyways.
It is. But maybe someone can't get down on the floor for a variety of reasons. Right. So then I teach them this way, which is you sit at the edge of your chair, on the ground, hands on your thighs, and it's the same kind of movement along the spine. So as you inhale, you roll your pelvis forward, arching your spine, and you can look up slightly. And then as you exhale, you roll your pelvis backward, round your spine, and drop your head. So you go back and forth like this. Oh, this feels good right now while I'm doing it, actually. So it's easy to do in your chair like this. So that's just an example of, there's so many type of movements like that. Another.
I love this one because it, it involves your neck, your upper back, your chest.
Everything. Really. Everything's moving and flowing. And, it gives you a chance to not look at the screen and tune into your breathing, which is super relaxing, as you know. So all of that together is a lot of bang for your buck. The few minutes you do it, you'll notice a difference. So those are some ideas of how to get started. But really the thing is short intervals, hourly if you can, of regular movement.
Right. Keep moving.
Yeah.
And on the topic of movement, I would like to mention, movement of our eyes. So to prevent eye strain, follow the 20-20-20 rule endorsed by the American Optometry Association, which is take a 20-second break to view something 20 feet away every 20 minutes.
Right. That is really important.
Right.
Yeah. We're just staring at our screen all day.
All day long. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's not just the musculoskeletal health. Research now shows that exercise alone isn't enough to keep your heart healthy. You have to keep moving throughout the day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And, coming on to your third point, which is stress, Sharmila. Effect of stress on our musculoskeletal health. Stress can affect our posture. Stress hormone cortisol can cause muscle tension, making it more prone to injury. And so what do you do about that? What do you think of that, Sharmila?
No, you're so right. I'm so happy you brought this up, because stress is an issue. Of course, right now during the coronavirus, it's at an all-time high. But even before this, in our modern lifestyle, it's clearly an issue that's often overlooked, right? So like as a physical therapist, that's something that's interesting to me because it's actually a factor also in physical issues, physical tension. So we hold tension in our body when we're stressed. So just another way to say that is mental tension can lead to physical tension, right? And so having regular techniques that are easy to do, not more than a couple minutes even, is super powerful, a super powerful way to help us be at our best. So there's a couple ways that I help people with this, a couple different techniques. One is a breathing technique. Breathing is really powerful because it links our mind and body. And breathing, when we're stressed, we tend to not breathe efficiently. We tend to breathe shallow. And that means that we tend to overwork our accessory muscles in the neck and shoulders, which lead to other issues. So working with our breathing helps in a variety of ways. And so it could look something as simple as this. You pause from your work for a moment. If you can, close your eyes to give yourself that break from the screen, and then tune in to your breathing. So you can tune in to the natural movement of your belly as you breathe. And just notice that as you inhale, your belly rises, and as you exhale, your belly falls. And so just keep tuning into that, and just that much can help you to relax and breathe more efficiently. But if you want, you can then accentuate that by further enhancing that movement. So as you inhale, letting your belly expand more, and as you exhale, letting your belly release more. And that's really how easy it is. It's just that easy. So you can do that for a couple of minutes and make that a habit to start adding while you work. And that's just one easy way. Now, another easy way is a body scan. I love body scans. It's just scanning your body from head to toe and noticing any sensations or discomfort or tension, just becoming aware of it. So a lot of times we're not even aware of where we're holding tension in our body, right? I can't even tell you the number of clients that come to see me that come in like this. They don't even realize they're like this.
That is so common, Sharmila. Yes.
Right?
Yes, I see that a lot.
So it's a very common thing. And so when I start to show them things like a body scan, then over time that completely changes because then they're aware of it.
Correct.
A body scan, you could do as little as just a few minutes, or you could do a detailed one for like 15 minutes. And all it is, just to explain it briefly, is just you go part by part. So starting, with the head and working down the face, the forehead, eyes, cheeks and jaw, mouth. And I'm going a little faster just to explain how to do this. And then you go to the neck, shoulders, and down the arms to the fingertips. And then down the front, the chest, abdomen, and then down the back, pelvis, and then both legs all the way to the feet and toes. And that's how simple it is. And you can choose how long you want to do that for, but just getting yourself to make that a habit is really very powerful. So those are just two examples of techniques that I teach people that they can just do even, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, if they've never done it before. And so it's just easy to incorporate. And the final thing I want to say is that all of these things are actually pretty easy, and actually is a lot of, gives you a lot of benefit for doing it. So the ergonomics piece, initially it might take some experimentation on how to set up your station, but once you get that understand that and you set it up, then you're set. And the movement, the regular movement and the stress management techniques, we're talking only a couple of minutes. It's not really that much time. It's more of a habit than taking up your time. So these are just, I just want to share that it's easy to do this. We have some power and control in how we can help ourselves to feel better.
Correct. Yeah, that's so right. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
What I've been doing myself is doing frequent check-ins with myself. What's your mind doing? What's my body doing? And now I've gotten into a habit of doing that every, hour or two.
Yeah.
And that helps me get out of, either I'm focusing too much on something negative going on. I'm mindful of that, or I'm, or I have a default stress posture, like you said, raising the shoulders or a hunched posture. I'm aware of that and I can correct it right away. So great. Awesome tips, Sharmila. Awesome suggestions. Hope you all enjoyed this and hope you can implement while working from home. Take care, everyone. Stay home and stay safe. And, you're not stuck at home. You're safe at home. Thank you, Sharmila.